olhando, mas as sombras estão rastejando. A cada batida do coração, minha determinação toma uma posição. Eu ouço as vozes subindo à distância, como um trovão rolando sobre ruas vazias. Eles dizem que é tudo loucura, essa luta pela existência, mas algumas batalhas valem a pena enfrentar a derrota. E se eu morrer antes de você acordar, espero que o mundo faça uma pausa para ver a beleza que nos foi dada. Em cada nascer do sol e cada estrela acima, tudo que precisamos é fé e confiança para sentir nosso amor. Eu quero que você saiba que não é um preço muito alto a pagar. Se eu morrer antes de você acordar, diga a todos eles que sinto falta do riso em seus lábios. O calor de sua mão envolveu firmemente a minha. Cada letra é uma tábua de salvação nesta viagem turbulenta, uma promessa de que nossos corações nunca se descontrairão. E quando a noite cai pesada, com certeza, lembre-se de mim em cada oração sussurrada. Para cada alma que luta por sua liberdade, carregamos esperança como armadura em todos os lugares. E se eu morrer antes de você acordar, espero que o mundo faça uma pausa para ver a beleza que nos foi dada. Em cada nascer do sol, em cada estrela acima, tudo que precisamos é fé e confiança para sentir nosso amor. Eu quero que você saiba que não é um preço muito alto a pagar. Se eu morrer antes de você acordar, portanto, segure-se firme durante as tempestades que podem surgir em seu caminho. O fio frágil da vida nos conecta dia a dia. Cada momento apreciado, enquanto o tempo passa, nosso amor permanece intacto, para sempre vai ficar. E se eu morrer antes de você acordar, diga a todos o quanto
Again, I have to say, welcome to Brazil, where they don't have a space program, but let's screw with the guy who puts our satellites into fucking space so we can have internet access. Ranked 79th in education in the fucking world. Hold on, let me try and get the chat word out. Need a new computer too to top it all off, which I will be getting regardless of what my wife says, because, well, hold on, wrong one. Looking for my, let's see, gotta figure out which one. None of them. All right. Let me find my script or my notes. I put them on my computer this time instead of in my notebook, which I guess makes me look like an idiot at this point. Yes. There's my script, which you heard my intro. My new tried to be all professional with my intro. Screw it. From now on, I'm just gonna be me. All right. Now that we're here talking, actually nobody's here yet, I don't believe. So I gotta, let me see, this goes here. You hold on, I bet you I can get this to work. Copy. Let me see. can actually sit here and wait for a little bit till someone comes in. Got good news, lots of good news. Winning, lots of winning. Let's go Trump. Yeah. My favorite is watching the loony leftist freak out because, well, let me open it, put it on live chat. Jimmy, you coming over? You gonna say something, or you gonna wait 3 weeks and then come over and get humiliated like after the fact? I'm all for free speech, even if you're an idiot. Let's see here. Let me center that up. Little crazy with the computer, but whatever. Need a new, bigger one. Desktop. Let's get this kicked off with some good news. Everybody see that egg prices are dropping. Remember the loony left for the last, 3-4 weeks. Well, look at the egg prices. They're dropping. Good news for prices are great news for consumers who rely on eggs as a staple food. Like a lot of older people eat breakfast. We don't eat eggs here in Brazil in the morning. We eat them in the afternoon with a meal. All eggs are expensive here, by the way. Hold on, let me check the level on my mic. It looks like it might be a little low. It is. Not low for that, but low. All right, that looks better. Okay, lower egg prices are great news for consumers who rely on eggs as a food staple. I like them for the protein. I eat them in the afternoon though, usually scrambled or on a sandwich. As prices drop due to increased supply from not killing your chickens, families can save money on groceries. A family that regularly buys eggs might save a few bucks each week, money that could go towards other essentials like milk or bread. Now, I haven't talked to Grumpy about, well, he's not a milk farmer anymore. I don't know if he'd know about milk prices. I was curious about milk prices. Just because, and I did some checking. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but Mexico and Canada didn't have a single case of bird flu. And America didn't have it until after Trump won the election. I'm not saying they're connected, but you think what you want. Countries with bird flu outbreaks often see increased culling, which of course, with supply dropping, prices are due to go up. Canada backs down on electric surcharge. Keeping electric, because of the tariffs, I think it was Ontario, said they were going to put a surcharge on electric or raise the surcharge on electric, which I don't know why we're paying Canada for electric, but keeping electricity prices stable helps maintain a strong economic relationship between Canada and the U.S. Canada is a major supplier of electricity to several U.S. cities, New York being one of them, and a sudden surcharge could strain these ties. Think of it like if you keep raising prices at your coffee shop, your regulars might just start going elsewhere for their coffee. How about you just start going to American companies anyway? Just saying. They should be buying from the United States, which was the purpose of the tariffs, to make Americans or make America competitive with other countries. And energy is our biggest security problem. If you took out our power grid, we're done. If Canada shut off the power to like New York, and I guess Michigan is one of them, New York, Michigan, I can't remember, they're screwed, especially in the winter. Picture this, families can save enough money to take that summer vacation instead of worrying about skyrocketing power bills. No. I put that in there as sarcasm, actually. No new surcharge helps Canada's electricity maintain its competitive edge in the market while they don't buy electricity from the United States. So they have the monopoly, at least in those states. If Canada remains an affordable source of energy compared to domestic alternatives in the U.S., it could solidify its market position. You mean a monopoly, which America actually has laws against. Well, hold on, let me take a break here for a minute. I mentioned Jim later. I'm not going to talk about get out of order this time. That's why I put it on my computer. How'd you like the intro music, even though the computer was screwing up? The intro music, wrote it all myself, all of it. In Portuguese, well, I wrote it in English and then used a translator to put it in Portuguese. Because I wasn't sure I could do the phrasing properly with the different syllables and accents. So that's what I did. Might play a little more of it as a, of course, leftists are losing their shit about the tariffs. But what they overlook is the fact that other countries have significantly higher tariffs on American goods. For instance, did you know Canada imposes a staggering 250% tariff on milk and cheese going into Canada? Do you think that kills competitiveness in Canada? This is like being upset over a neighbor's fence and ignoring your own towering wall, which is another thing we need to put back into the budget. High foreign tariffs limit consumer choice from America. You can't buy an American car in Europe due to these protective measures, these tariffs. Imagine wanting a cool new Mustang. Are there any cool new Mustangs? I don't even know. I'd have to ask Jim. He likes the old Mustangs. I like the old Mustangs. But realizing you can't even get it across the pond because of sky-high tariffs. The U.S. faces stiff competition from countries like China that restrict American products through tariffs. Go down to frickin' Walmart, see how much Chinese shit's there. Go to China, you won't see an American product on the shelf. You can't buy anything American in China, which is one of our biggest competitors. We buy from our biggest competitor. Think about that for a minute. They don't have regulations on child labor, slave labor, EPA, all that good shit. It's like trying to compete in a race while your opponent is throwing roadblocks at you. You people are your own worst enemy. I mean, it's cheap products. I'm not gonna lie, but between unions and raw materials and tariffs, America can't compete. That's because you keep electing frickin' retards to be, president. Like a guy who shits himself at the D-Day commemoration. Hold on, reminder. Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And chat is open. I'm a First Amendment purist, unless you threaten somebody. I mean, I've had people threaten me and I haven't blocked them, but only because I'm not afraid. I mean, really, you don't know me. Yeah, that's probably not the smartest thing you could do. But anyway, really, let me see. I don't think anybody's here yet. There was somebody earlier. I was hoping it would be Jim, so he could, be Jim. Which, I destroy him repeatedly on Grumpy's. He never comes over during the live streams, even in Grumpy's, and tries because, he'll get destroyed in real time. Which, if you can't compete with me when you have time to think, you're obviously not going to be rocking live. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't compete with me when you have time to go out and find stuff, which they never do. They never look stuff up. They just, Um, one more story, and then I'm going to go get a refill. Ukraine mineral deal and peace deal. Now, the loony left were freaking out because I think it was someone from the State Department said they got a agreement from Ukraine to sign a peace deal, at least for 30 days, ceasefire. It's not a peace deal, it's a ceasefire. And they said, but we got to go talk to the Russians. And the loony left are going, oh my God, you got to go talk to the Russians. Yeah, you generally have to talk to the two parties that are warring. Engaging in dialogue with Russia is crucial for achieving lasting peace in Ukraine. Historical examples show that war often ends when opposing parties come to the negotiating table. Weird. The Korean War and Vietnam War both saw resolution after prolonged discussions. If Ukraine sits down with Russia, it could lead to a mutual understanding that paves the way for de-escalation. A mineral deal can create economic independence that reduces conflict potential. Countries often find common ground through trade agreements, which can stabilize relations and promote peace. If there are Americans in Ukraine, Russia is less likely to go fuck around, because then you're going to draw America and NATO, which fucking at this point, NATO is a fucking joke. Hey, Europe. This is like what, the third or fourth time in your continent we've had to come with military forces or military supplies and stuff. How about y'all settle the fuck down before we just take over Europe? How about that? Maybe that's what Trump needs to say. If you people don't settle down, we're going to take fucking Europe as the 51st fucking state. Anyway. Consider how Germany and France went from bitter enemies in World War II to key partners in the EU. Economics plays a huge role. Leftists are overreacting by dismissing diplomatic efforts as appeasement without considering real-world complexities. Oh my God, Trump is working for Putin. But Putin didn't send the checks to Trump. He sent them to the Bidens. Got the frickin' letters. Matter of fact, I have a PDF of an actual check with Joe Biden, Joseph Biden on it. A check. Diplomacy doesn't mean weakness. It's often a strategic move that acknowledges realities on the ground. Trump is a frickin' negotiator. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing, hence the tariffs. Canada's backed down on the surcharges. All he wants is fair trade. It doesn't mean you're going to sell more cars in Europe, because you still have the transportation costs and all that stuff. It just means fair trade means selection and competition. Just because you talk doesn't mean you give up your principles. Think of famous negotiators who stood firm while also engaging. Also, there's a complaint that Ukraine's going to lose ground. They already lost ground. They're not going to win the war. Period. Get the fuck over it. They're not going to win the war. They never were. I don't give a shit how many M1 tanks we give them, how many javelins we give them. They don't have enough people. They were never going to win the war. Putin wants Crimea, the Black Sea, basically. That's where their base is. Also, that's where a key trade area is. And there's a lot of loyalists there. I don't know why. I don't care. Geopolitical stuff in that region, I don't care about until it starts messing with, the United States. Russia has not killed a single American. Has not messed with American trade at all. We've messed with theirs. They haven't messed with ours. Matter of fact, I think Russia has tariffs on us now because, that's why they don't use the dollar anymore. They used to until Biden tried to use it to destroy their economy. That's why they don't use the dollar. That's how BRICS came about. But I need to go get another cold snack. I'll be right back. Maybe somebody will jump in here. Let me get my music up and going.
Chegando, chegando nas atenções, eu vejo seus olhos. A batida bate como um trovão e a sala começa a subir. Corações elétricos estão acelerados. Vamos derrubar essas paredes. A cada movimento que você faz, ouço o canto da sereia. Você é um fogo acendendo essa multidão inquieta. Estamos perdidos no ritmo, estamos gritando alto. Eu quero rock and roll a noite toda e festa todos os dias. Deixa a música assumir o controle enquanto dançamos nossas preocupações. Eu quero nos perder no som que nos liberta. Então aumente o volume e deixe o rugir esta. Hoje o rugir dessa noite selvagem foi feita para mim. Seu sorriso é como um raio, corta a escuridão. Neste mar de rostos, você desencadeou uma faísca. Você diz que está aqui para emoções. Você anseia por algo real. Este momento louco, diga-me como se sente. Com cada grito e grito ecoando lá no alto. Vamos abafar nossas preocupações. Vamos nos deleitar como eu quero rock and roll a noite toda e festa todos os dias. Deixa a música assumir o controle enquanto dançamos nossas preocupações. Eu quero nos perder no som que nos liberta. Então aumente o volume e deixe o rugir esta. Hoje o rugir dessa noite selvagem foi feita para mim. E quando as estrelas colidem com nossos sonhos desenfreados, cada batida do coração está batendo. A vida explode em suas costuras. Então segure firme a liberdade. Quando surfamos nessa onda esta noite, juntos vamos desencadear um turbilhão de luz. Eu quero rock and roll a noite toda e festa todos os dias. Deixa a música assumir o controle enquanto dançamos nossas preocupações. Eu quero nos perder no som que nos liberta. Então aumente o volume e deixe o rugir esta. Hoje o rugir dessa noite selvagem foi feita para mim. Sim, estou gritando bem alto. Você pode sentir essa emoção. Essa paixão elétrica surge. É mais do que apenas uma emoção. Vamos balançar até o amanhecer. O mundo desaparece. Esta noite somos eternamente jovens. Vamos viver sem demora. Estou gritando bem alto. Você pode sentir essa emoção. Essa paixão elétrica surge. É mais do que apenas uma emoção. Vamos balançar até o amanhecer. O mundo desaparece. Esta noite somos eternamente jovens. Vamos viver sem demora.
Welcome to WKBX Radio. That was Sean Armstrong and the Booger Pickin' 4. Anyway, nobody's in here. Person who firebombed Tesla dealership in jail. Yeah, I guess the loony left have been going around. I guess they hate electric cars now and are in favor of gas cars. Weird. But they don't realize there's a new sheriff in town. They're not going to get away with this shit like they did in 2020. Terrorism should have serious consequences. I remember shooting terrorists in the face. I miss the good old days. Firebombing a business is not just vandalism. It's an act of violence intended to intimidate or coerce, which is part of the definition of terrorism. Think about it. If someone torches your local shop, it creates fear in the community. People should face the music for such reckless behavior, especially when innocent lives could have been lost, could have been at risk. I think arson should be grounds for lethal force in every state. If someone's trying, the three rights we had in the founding, right, which was John Locke articulated quite clearly, which was also articulated in the Federalist Papers: life, liberty, property. You do not have the right to destroy someone's property. And I personally believe they should have the right to defend their property with lethal force. It's their property. They paid for it. With Republicans in charge, there's likely to be less tolerance for domestic terrorism. So, what they say, FAFU, fuck around and find out? All right. The Republican Party has historically taken a hard stance against domestic threats, especially after events that shook public safety. Look back at how similar incidents were handled during different administrations. There's definitely been a shift towards stricter penalties now, which Pam Bondi has already said they're facing terrorism charges, which, in my opinion, Gitmo would be a good place. What they say, they have 30,000 beds? Send them in there with all those criminal aliens they want to send there. We'll see if Jose doesn't have himself a little fun with one of those little frickin' lily white frickin' I wear black, Antifa idiots. I'm saving the environment by setting fire to electric cars. Yeah, you're all fucking retarded. Now, Cat Turd Swatted, which if you've been on X, you know who Cat Turd is. A prominent Trump Republican. But he supports Trump. But just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're a fanatic for Trump. You just like his policies, right? But, Cat Turd Swatted, Trump supporters under attack by far left extremists. Are there any other type of far lefts? They're all extreme. Swatting is not just a prank, it's a dangerous act that can have severe consequences. I think the first time it happened, they actually shot someone. Because if you're beating on someone's door, they may come to the door with a firearm going, what the fuck? There have been multiple instances where innocent people have been harmed due to swatting incidences. In this incident, they had the SWAT team in front of his house because they said he had shot his stepdaughter and was holed up in there. He was sleeping. Also, his wife has a heart condition. So, in 2017, a SWAT call resulted in the death of Andrew Finch when officers responded aggressively to what turned out to be a hoax. The current political climate has fostered extreme reactions from both sides. Don't say both sides. Republicans aren't swatting people. Okay? They're not setting fire to shit. I got that from a news report. Protests during the summer of 2020 saw violence from both anti-Trump protests and counter-protest by Trump. No, Trump supporters were not setting fire to shit. Again, another newspaper. No, they were not setting fire to shit. Many Trumps feel they are being unjustly attacked for expressing their political views. Yeah, if you're swatting people for their political views, it's called terrorism. Social media platforms often showcase instances where individuals face backlash or threats simply for being vocal about their support for Trump. Yo, right here. Of course, I laugh when you threaten me because, hell, shit. Al-Qaeda Iraq had a price on my head for years after I left. Nobody ever collected. But, they put one on there. Of course, they put one on every soldier. But, instances of people losing jobs or facing social ostracism after revealing their political affiliation highlights this issue. I personally believe that falls under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Don't you have a right to vote for who you want to? Yes. I was swatted by some idiot from California that I called out for stolen valor. Yes, I'm talking about you, Jimmy Darling. She's over on what is it? Stolen Valor Posers or Stolen Valor. You can look her up, Jimmy Darling. Saying she called the cops in New York saying I had illegal guns. New York is New York, but it's still not California. You wouldn't know what an illegal gun in California. All guns are illegal. So I knew the guys they sent. Everything was cool. Matter of fact, we had a cup of coffee, shot the shit. You know, they actually knew what guns I had because I knew the guys. I've gone shooting with them. They laugh, but they still have to go do the call, and then they'll mark it off as like closed. So it wasn't really a problem, and they got a free cup of coffee. So who gives a shit, right? Notice I'm not rushing. Nobody's here. Nobody's talking. Lots of good news to put out. Inflation is dropping. If inflation keeps heading downwards, you can bet your bottom dollar Democrats will jump on the bandwagon, trying to paint it as a win for Biden's policies. You know how everything is Trump's fault right now? Well, with inflation dropping, they're going to try and make it that Biden did something magically in his last administration. They tried it with Obama too. Trump inherited a booming economy. No, he didn't, but we all know he didn't. And I could bring up the statistics if you want, you loony leftists. Numbers don't lie. You do. Numbers don't. While inflation is decreasing now, it soared under Biden's watch initially. Inflation rates hit their highest since the Great Depression during his presidency due to pandemic-related spending and supply chain issues. I will argue that you can't just ignore the record spike. It was a significant event that many voters remember vividly. Actually, you know what I remember more about Biden? Him shitting himself at the D-Day commemoration. That was a kind of a big deal for me when I was going, yeah, that dude ain't right. But the loony left, he's as sharp as he's ever been. Well, if that's as sharp as he's ever been, then he's been a fucking idiot his entire life. Biden's policies included massive spending, which many argue led to higher inflation initially. Now, it wasn't the spending, it was the printing of money. Yeah, when you devalue money, it becomes worth less, and it takes more of it to buy something. Economists often warn that printing money or increasing fiscal spending without offsetting revenues can lead to devalued currency and rising prices. You see, I just quoted an economist, or a couple of economists, and I was right, and I did it before I even read that, didn't I? So maybe I know what I'm talking about, huh? Let's be real here. When you flood the market with cash, it's like confetti at a parade without any real economic growth behind it. You're just asking for trouble. That's a classic recipe for rising prices. To quote Kamala Harris during her campaign, Joe and I are dropping trillions of dollars on the streets. Just listening to that, I just knew she was an idiot. Because she didn't know enough to keep that a secret. So she didn't understand economics. I would keep that a secret if I understood. If you understand economics, you don't say that. Even Richard Reich, that Nazi fuck, wouldn't say that out loud. He'd say it's because of billionaires, is what he'd say. Yeah, it's because of billionaires. That's why we have inflation. Billionaires, yeah. That's why. Or my favorite was corporate greed. So you mean when Trump's first term, there was no corporate greed because prices were a lot lower. So I guess voting for Trump was a good idea. He can get rid of corporate greed. You don't sound stupid at all. Let me get comfortable here. See, I think I have one more person in here. Cool. Don't know who it is. Drop a message. Maybe it's Jim. He won't, though, because he knows I'll destroy him in real time. Instead, what he'll do is wait. I'll get to Jim in a bit. I think I still, yeah, Jim, yeah. The Trump administration reopens hundreds of millions of acres for oil drilling. Drill, baby, drill. Economic, obviously, an influence is economic growth. Reopening land for oil drilling boosts the economy. No shit. I do research before I did this podcast, actually. Increased access to oil resources can lead to job creation in extraction industries, which, what was it Biden said when he closed the XL pipeline? You can learn to code or cope, something like that. According to industry reports, the oil and gas sector supports millions of jobs across the U.S., from drilling to transportation and refining. More leases mean more potential jobs. Think rig workers, engineers, and support services. Let's be real, more drilling means more jobs. It's like flipping a switch for economic activity. When you open up land for oil drilling, you're basically inviting new businesses and jobs into the area. It's a win-win. Everything revolves around energy. You don't have energy, you might as well be a fucking caveman. Some of you are kind of there. Energy independence, which we had in his first term, if you remember. Increased drilling leads to greater energy independence for the U.S. By tapping into domestic oil reserves, reliance on foreign oil decreases. The U.S. has seen fluctuations in foreign oil prices affecting its economy. More local production can stabilize those prices. Remember when Joe Biden went to OPEC to beg them to produce more oil? It's supply and demand. If you have to go beg a foreign country to save your economy, it's fucking wrong. If we drill more at home, we don't have to sweat over what's happening halfway around the world with oil prices. Like, I don't know, a war in Ukraine. Imagine not having to depend on other countries for your energy needs. That's what local drilling can do. Think about that. Well, Germany just had to reopen coal mines because of the Ukraine-Russia war. They still get most of their gas from Russia. So our sanctions against Russia aren't really worth much when our allies, NATO allies, are fucking paying them. You know what I mean? So don't you feel fucking stupid. Lower fuel prices. More drilling could help lower fuel prices for consumers. Increased supply typically lowers costs in a free market. It lowers costs of everything. Overhead means less cost at the market. With domestic production surged in the past decade due to shale extraction techniques, gas prices dropped significantly. That's natural gas, obviously. More oil means lower gas prices. Who doesn't want when filling up the tank? Let's face it, cheaper fuel is good news for everyone driving around or heating their home. With the loony left hating electric cars now, we're going to need the extra fuel. I find that crazy too. All of a sudden, the loony left hates electric cars and wants gas cars, I guess. So, hey, Jimmy, your truck, your Mustang, loony leftists will love it now. Go out in front of a loony leftist house and rev that son of a bitch up. Say, see, I got you, man. Got you. No Elon Musk. We're good. Rob. Oh, that story was just a lead into this story. Gas prices dropped to 4-year low. Economic relief for consumers. The drop in gas prices provides much needed relief for everyday consumers. Lower gas prices mean people have more disposable income to spend on their necessities or leisure activities. Leisure activities? What the hell is that? My leisure activity is watching Netflix. Imagine being able to fill your tank for $2.50 instead of $3. Those extra bucks can go towards a nice dinner or a family outing. With gas prices down, folks are finally getting a breather. That means more cash for pizza nights or weekend trips. Actually, that pizza is going to get cheaper too because the ingredients will be cheaper to ship. It's like finding an extra 20 bucks in your pocket. Lower gas prices leave room in your budget for fun stuff. Boosting local economies, cheaper gas can stimulate local economies as people venture out more often. Right now it's winter in New York, upstate, or northern America, so nobody's really traveling too much. When fuel costs decrease, people are likely to travel further for shopping or dining, or other things like business. Think about it. If you're not stressed over filling your tank, you're more likely to drive to that new coffee shop across town. When gas is cheap, we're all hitting the road more. More trips means our local businesses get a boost. Actually, it just means you can do business cheaper. Farmers will pay less to plant and harvest this season if this trend holds. That's more important than can I go to that coffee shop, because if they can harvest cheaper, they'll make more of a profit, offsetting some of the, like if the price drops on corn, if the gas is cheaper, it's still going to offset. Transporting goods gets cheaper, hence products get cheaper. Lower fuel costs bring on the road trips and shopping sprees. Local stores are going to love it. And local stores are going to get cheaper because they're going to get their products cheaper via tractor trailers and so on and so forth. Way to go, Trump. I'm still waiting for someone to tell me, like, lose here. Like, peace in Ukraine, lower egg prices, lower gas prices, lower inflation. With sources, I source these. If you notice, I went to some loony leftist sites too. But I have to get a cold snack and, well, I'm not going to talk about the other thing. I will be right back.
O ergador disse, filho, é o fim dos dias, com sombras rastejando o mundo em chamas. Mas aqui nessa floresta onde minhas raízes são profundas, eu tenho uma vida que o dinheiro não pode comprar, ou manter a risada da minha mulher. Ilumina a noite com nossos filhos perto do fogo, tudo parece certo. Porque um garoto do campo pode resistir a qualquer tempestade, com um coração tão forte e um amor que nos mantém aquecidos. Nós vamos renascer das cinzas como o sol ao amanhecer. Neste batimento cardíaco do país, vamos continuar. Sinuaro esses campos sob um céu sem fim, lançando linhas para bagres, enquanto as estrelas passam. Nós fabricamos nosso próprio uísque e dançamos através da névoa, para melodias dos dias mais simples de nossos ancestrais. Você não pode nos matar de fome, somos construídos para sobreviver, das colinas da Virgínia Ocidental, para onde os sonhos selvagens prosperam. Porque um garoto no campo pode resistir a qualquer tempestade, com um coração tão forte e um amor que nos mantém aquecidos. Nós vamos renascer das cinzas como o sol ao amanhecer. Neste batimento cardíaco do país, vamos continuar. Então levante seu corpo para amigos que se foram muito tempo, para cada lágrima derramada sobre batalhas vencidas, nas luzes da cidade brilhantes, as nossas noites de estrada secundária, em cada luta está nossa luz guiar. Certa vez tive um amigo que perseguia sonhos da cidade, mas ele nunca entendeu como a vida real irradia. Ele me enviou suas fotos de pontos turísticos de arranha-céus. Eu mandava histórias para ele em volta das noites de fogueira, mas quando a escuridão veio chamando com sua mão cruel, ele se perdeu longe dessa terra. Oh sim, um menino do campo pode ver resistir a qualquer tempestade. Com o coração tão forte e o amor que nos mantém aquecidos, nós vamos renascer das cinzas como o sol ao amanhecer. Neste batimento cardíaco do país, vamos continuar. Então, se você está se sentindo perdido neste passeio louco, apenas encontre o caminho de casa, onde os verdadeiros corações habitam. Porque em cada risada compartilhada, em cada lágrima que choramos, uma alma no campo sempre sobreviverá.
Another original by yours truly. Again, I had to use a translator, but yes, I play guitar, by the way, and drums and bass. Always wanted to learn to play piano, though. But, I don't know who's in here. Anybody in here? Looks like someone's just watching, which is kind of creepy. Anyway. So, I got to talk about Jim, who's a friend, a loony leftist friend of Grumpy's. You know, when I say friend, I mean he's an idiot. A loony leftist. Put a post like on a 3-week-old pod. He never comes over on a new one because then you'll get notified. He always goes to an old one, so you have to check because I humiliate this guy all the time. All my articles are sourced, unless I'm calling you an idiot, then you're the source. So there's the difference. But YouTube held the comment because it was filled with profanity, but I allow profanity-laden rants on my podcast because it's crucial for society to identify the intellectual shortcomings. Also, my podcast, I provide an unfiltered platform where individuals express their thoughts without fear of censorship, unless you threaten somebody, except for me. Like, my favorite is when you idiots who don't know me threaten me. One, I live in fucking Brazil. I don't think you're going to fly to fucking Brazil just to fight me. And also, it's the internet, which makes you look just like an even bigger loser. And three, if you knew anything about my background, you just go, yeah, probably not a good idea. Maybe I should go out and do some research and get my own sourced articles. But anyway, think about it. When you hear someone ramble on with no coherent point while throwing it more curse words than actual facts, it's like watching a train wreck. You can't look away. It is educational. It's like attending a circus. You get to see all kinds of acts. Some are impressive. Others are just clowns. Not every viewpoint deserves airtime. Sometimes ignorance is better off left unheard. But I'm not that. Stupid people don't know they're stupid. So I'm here to help them. Jim, you're stupid. It's like not every engaging with poorly articulated ideas can lead to confusing rather than enlightenment. Well, it doesn't confuse me. I know he's an idiot. So, would you watch paint dry just because it's art? No, thanks. Sometimes silence speaks louder than those podcasts full of babbling nonsense. He never tries during a live stream. Never. Not even in Grumpy's. He'll wait 3 weeks because we won't get notifications after that. We have to go like look at comments in studio. Why? Because he knows he'll get destroyed in real time in front of a bunch of people. Jim is literally an indictment of our American school system. This is why the Department of Education does not need to exist. It's putting out idiots like this. As a matter of fact, some of those people probably should be facing charges. Hold on. I'm going to share this again. Just because, oh, that's me. There's a lag in here, so when I see myself with the lag, kind of creeps me out a little bit, you know. Give me a second. Okay, here. Sorry, maybe when I was typing I hit the control button. Went over to share this on my threads, which is always, threads is always exciting because holy shit are people stupid. Hold on, a reminder. My production manager over here is having a dream, I think. She's behind the computer. I think maybe chasing a mouse or something. Don't know, but all right, now let's talk about the portion of Mahmoud Khalil. Reports indicate that Khalil and his band of terrorists harassed Jewish students, creating a hostile environment that impeded their ability to attend class. Well, if you can't move freely, that would be impeding your freedom, wouldn't it? Isn't freedom one of our natural rights? Liberty to come and go and do what you want, as long as it's not impeding someone else's civil rights or natural rights. Well, he's impeding their natural rights. And I used the term civil rights, and I was wrong. It's natural rights. Civil rights are something the government give you. Natural rights are things in the Declaration of Independence that you're just born with. Life, liberty, property. right? You have the right to accrue property. If someone uses intimidation tactics to silence others based on their identity or beliefs, it undermines the very foundation of free education and civil liberties we cherish in America. That would be your natural rights. You have the right to freedom. You can come and go as you life, liberty, freedom to come and go as you please, to attend class. Harassment isn't just bad manners, it's a direct attack on people's rights. When someone makes it unsafe for others to learn, they should not be allowed to stay. He's violating their civil right. Well, isn't that, also, he's on a green card. So he's not a citizen. Allegations have emerged suggesting Khalil has expressed support for terrorist groups online. Hamas. He supports Hamas, okay? If someone is publicly endorsing violence and extremism, we have every right to question their place in our society. After all, why would we want someone like that living among us? The loony left seemed to like him because they were protesting at Trump Tower, not understanding that, to be honest, it's pretty simple. If you're cheering on terrorists instead of promoting peace, you don't belong here. We can't turn a blind eye to that. Immigration laws exist to maintain national security and public safety. Me personally, just based on my personal experience, if you're throwing a rug on the ground and Allah Akbar, you need to go, period. It's not compatible with a republic, a constitutional republic with freedoms and liberties, because you're probably either going to mercy kill someone or honor kill someone or blow something up. Just because someone marries an American doesn't mean they automatically get a free pass. There are rules for a reason. You can be deported for no reason, by the way, on a green card. It could just be they change immigration policy. You can be deported. But I have a green card. Well, we change policy. Get the fuck out. Marriage doesn't erase behavior. If you're breaking laws or threatening people, your green card should mean nothing. They can deport me tomorrow, the Brazilian government. I have a green card. Indefinite. Permanent green card. I have permanent resident. Stay here as long as I like. Right now. Tomorrow they can say, get the fuck out. Period. So he needs to go. You don't have to like Israel. Then again, I don't have to care either. That's the great thing about a free society, right? Then again, I don't like terrorists either. As a matter of fact, back when I was younger and more adventurous, I used to shoot them. It was almost like hunting season. But now today we give them green cards. Weird. Of course, violence isn't new for the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party has historically had ties to controversial groups. The KKK was founded during Reconstruction in the South and had significant support from Southern Democrats at the time. They had some support from Northern Democrats too. Don't let them play you. Okay? When you look at the 1887 Civil Rights Act, or 1887 or 18, yeah, it was 1887. 1887 Civil Rights Act. Look who voted for what. Yeah, it was, Northern Democrats weren't on board either. Many argue that this historical context shows how political affiliations can shift but leave behind legacies of hate. They would have to explain the most segregated city in the country is Chicago, which has not elected a Republican mayor since 1927, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana, has not elected a Republican since 1870. So, You could say, let's not forget that back in the day, the KKK was like the unofficial fan club for some Democrats. It's hard to ignore those kinds of roots. Some leftist groups have indeed called for violence. There have been instances where individuals associated with Antifa have been accused of inciting violence during protests. They're not accusations, they have them on video. Literally, you people are so stupid you get caught on camera. I'm an anti-fascist. You're an idiot. In several high-profile events, clashes between police and protesters have resulted in property damage and injuries. $2 billion. And I'll get to that in a bit. $2 billion. Yeah. Sure, not everyone in Antifa is out there throwing punches, but when you see those wild scenes on TV, it raises eyebrows about how peaceful some folks really are. No, pretty much, and they're actually a very small group. Antifa is a small group, because it's like being the smartest person at the Down syndrome table. Like if I went to an Antifa meeting, there'd be like 4 people there. And it would be like being the smartest person at a Down syndrome table. Politicians from both sides have often used incendiary language that can incite extreme reactions from their supporters. I don't really remember anybody. Does anybody remember someone inciting a Republican to? I mean, they tried to say Trump incited January 6th, but we see Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. Yeah, none of those were Republicans. And Donald Trump, most recently, Donald Trump. Yeah, no, that's all Democrats. Let's not forget the baseball field there with that loony, which was Bernie Sanders supporter. I'm not blaming Bernie Sanders. I'm just saying y'all fucking nuts. During election cycles, phrases like "fight back" can be interpreted as calls to actions rather than just metaphorical speeches. Or, in Maxine Waters' words, "get up in their face," which I'll knock you the fuck out, by the way. Get up in their face. Don't let them have a minute's peace. What else? Oh, there was one. I can't remember who it was. It was on MSNBC. I can't believe there aren't riots in the streets. Maybe there should be. Exact words. Direct quote. It's like politicians are throwing gasoline on a fire with their words when they say fight. Well, in Trump's defense, he had just gotten shot at and part of his ear was ripped off. So, yeah, some people take it literally. Can't we just disagree without going full WWE? Oh, it's beyond that. I was a professional wrestler for 5 years, trust me. You guys wouldn't last 10 seconds in the ring with me. I will stretch your ass. But in my book, Institutionalizing Division, The Rise of Racial Fanaticism in American Society, there are literally 62 pages of BLM's victims. Speaking of the book, I want to play you an excerpt. I think I'm a good writer.
The use of CRT is a cynical ploy by Republicans. Critical race theory originated in legal studies as a means to examine how laws and systems perpetuate racial inequalities. As this framework began permeating K-12 education, it faced backlash from various quarters. Critics argue that teaching CRT can morph into an ideological agenda rather than a balanced exploration of race relations and history. A primary concern is that students might be exposed to a one-sided narrative that emphasizes guilt or victimhood based on race, which could inhibit critical thinking skills. Surveys conducted among parents reveal a growing unease regarding how certain curricula present these complex topics. Many parents express discomfort with what they perceive as politically charged lessons that lack neutrality. For instance, a survey by the National Parents Union found that over 60% of parents felt their children were being taught content that favored specific ideological viewpoints instead of encouraging open dialogue and critical analysis. This sentiment illustrates a broader fear among families that education may be veering away from fostering independent thought toward enforcing particular beliefs.
Indoctrination.
The concern over indoctrination is further exacerbated by reported instances where students encounter biased teachings within classrooms. Several anecdotal accounts have surfaced, illustrating scenarios where educators emphasize certain narratives while downplaying or omitting contrasting perspectives. For example, some students have recounted experience without acknowledging varying viewpoints or the complexities involved. This approach raises questions about educational objectivity and the role of teachers as facilitators versus advocates for particular ideologies. Educators are tasked with presenting information fairly. However, when personal beliefs seep into instructional materials or discussions, it risks alienating students who hold differing views or come from diverse backgrounds. Such situations not only undermine the principle of academic freedom, but also infringe upon parental rights concerning content exposure. Parents often expect schools to provide a well-rounded education free from overt political influence. At the heart of this debate lies the fundamental issue of balancing educational content with parental rights regarding what their children learn. Many parents assert their right to be informed about and involved in their children's education, particularly concerning sensitive topics like race and identity politics. The pushback against CRT reflects broader anxieties about losing control over children's moral and intellectual development within an increasingly polarized society. Efforts by some school districts to include parental feedback mechanisms aim to address these concerns. However, critics argue that such measures may not go far enough in ensuring transparency or accountability regarding curriculum choices related to CRT. The challenge remains: how can educators navigate these contentious waters while maintaining academic integrity? It requires an ongoing commitment to inclusivity, encouraging diverse perspectives while ensuring no single ideology dominates classroom discourse. At the heart of this discourse lies the concept of critical thinking, a skill deemed essential for navigating an increasingly complex world filled with divergent opinions. When curricula are infused with ideologically charged materials, there is a tendency for students to encounter information that aligns predominantly with one perspective while marginalizing or omitting others. For instance, in some instances where social justice themes are prioritized in literature classes, classic texts that offer alternative viewpoints may be overlooked or dismissed. This selective presentation can create echo chambers within educational environments where dissenting opinions are not just unacknowledged but actively discouraged. Furthermore, research indicates that when students are exposed exclusively to one ideological perspective, their ability to engage critically diminishes. An analysis conducted by the Brookings Institution suggests that an imbalanced curriculum can lead to cognitive dissonance when students later encounter opposing viewpoints outside of school. Without prior exposure or training in engaging with such viewpoints constructively, these individuals may struggle to articulate their positions or understand differing perspectives effectively.
Yeah, but I don't know how to write or research or do anything. In case you hadn't noticed, I don't like CRT. I think it's a hoax. I think it's people trying to make money off race. And if you want proof, Kendi Ibram Max Smith is his actual real last name, may charge $300 an hour for 3 hours to tell a school board how great Marxism was and how racist they all were. Even if they weren't racist, that's another thing. Even if you're not racist at all, you're racist because it's subconscious. Really? Well, maybe you're a subconscious asshole too. You seem nice, but you could be a subconscious asshole. Just saying. Or maybe you're a subconscious pedophile. We don't know, it's subconscious. Fucking morons. Oh, another mental giant here is Robert Reich and Reich. Reich, Bernie Sanders. Two peas in a pod. Robert Reich and Bernie Sanders, both prominent political figures, often associated with progressive policies advocating for wealth equality. I would love to have wealth equality with these two idiots. I'm smarter than they are, but they, both figures have spent most of their lives in government roles rather than traditional private sector jobs, which means they've never actually had a fucking job. Reichs started under Gerald fucking Ford. That's how long he's been in government. Bernie Sanders was handing out frickin' welfare checks. That was his first government job. Despite their critique of wealth inequality, they have amassed considerable fortunes. Robert Reich is worth about $4 million. Would you like $4 million? I'd like $4 million. Bernie Sanders' net worth is $3 million. He's a senator on a 5-figure-a-year salary, or 6-figure-a-year salary. It's a low 6-figure-a-year salary. So how is he worth $3 million? You have to ask yourselves. There's an inherent contradiction in lecturing about economic disparity while being wealthy themselves. Yes, which I bring up to Robert Schrader. He has a YouTube channel that puts out stuff every once in a while, and I point out the fact that he's a corrupt politician himself. So, a lack of real-world experience. None of them have ever had a job. So what the hell would they know about earning a wage in the real world? Reich and Sanders lack genuine experience in private sector. Both have spent decades in government roles. Reich is Secretary of Labor and Sanders as a long-term congressman and senator. Without experience in struggles faced by everyday workers, their perspectives on economic issues may be skewed or disconnected from reality. So far fucking disconnected, like they should just stop talking. Like, who keeps voting for these people too? You guys must be borderline retarded. It's easy to talk about working class struggles when you've never actually worked outside politics. How can they really understand what it's like to hustle for a paycheck? Well, when you got to go meet those lobbyists and, remember RFK calling out Sanders about his pharmacy payments. Yeah, you notice how defensive he got. Why? Because he knows he's right. He nailed him. He got him straight up. So I guess it's hard work, being, putting on dinners for lobbyists. Let's see. Wealth disparity versus personal wealth. Their multi-millionaire status undermines their message on wealth inequality. Send me a check, guys, and then I'll start believing in you. Mail me a check. It feels disingenuous for them to call out billionaires when they've profited significantly from the very system they critique. They take money from billionaires. Pharmacy executives are all billionaires, or close to billionaires. Bernie Sanders loves Russia, and Putin is a billionaire because, he steals from his citizens. But how can they lecture on income inequality when they're cashing 6-figure checks? It seems a bit rich coming from people who made millions off the same system. They've generated income through means unrelated to traditional employment. Both individuals have written best-selling books and given high-paying speeches which contribute significantly to their wealth. Now, my question is, who would pay these people for a speech? I've listened to Reich and I've listened to Sanders. They're fucking idiots. Both of them. They're idiots. Wouldn't a socialist give away his book and give free speeches, to get his message out there? Wouldn't he? Right? He'd want the message out there, so he would do it for free. Like we do. I'm not monetized. I'm doing this for free. That's why I took the time to write stuff up and, put it out here. I want the message out there. that these two are idiots. If lecturing pays better than any real job, isn't that just another form of capitalizing on privilege? You think? I would love a comment on any of this stuff. Do you think they're stupid? I would love to have them come in and give it an attempt to, rock and roll. Now, I'm not saying our system is perfect, but I'm going to guarantee you we're eating better than anybody in Venezuela, except for the government, obviously. I live within driving distance of Venezuela, by the way, and some of them come across the border, and I see them begging on Brazilian streets. So, as you can imagine, if it's better in Brazil than in Venezuela, yeah, it's pretty fucking bad in Venezuela. Alright, be right back. I'm going to get another beer. Nobody's here, so it really doesn't fucking matter. In 3 weeks from now, Jimmy will differentiate between Jimmy and Jim, because, Jim, Grumpy and Jim. So, 3 weeks from now, he'll comment.
Em um mundo que está girando rápido, como um sonho que não podemos retroceder, eu tenho perseguido sombras, deixando sua luz para trás. Com cada pedido de ajuda, eu virei as costas para o destino, mas agora eu vejo as peças, é hora de navegar. Oh, as noites em que você ficou ao meu lado, enquanto eu estava perdido no mar, e todas essas promessas sussurradas estão ecoando através de mim. Eu ainda acredito em você, com um amor que sempre será, como as estrelas que brilham acima de nós, constantemente livres, permanecendo tão forte e verdadeiro. Não importa o que enfrentemos, baby, eu ainda acredito em você e em mim, nosso lugar sagrado. Em algum lugar, essa estrada sinuosa deixei a ambição cegar meus olhos, só pensando em mim quando seu coração começou a chorar, por todas as vezes que eu quebrei a confiança sob o peso do orgulho. Perdoe-me por esquecer como ficar ao seu lado. Oh, querida, pegue minha mão agora, vamos deixar nossas dúvidas para trás. Estou pronto para recuperar o amor que o tempo deixou confinado. Eu ainda acredito em você, com o amor que sempre será, como as ondas que beijam a costa infinitamente libertada, permanecendo tão forte, verdadeiros em todas as tempestades que enfrentamos. Baby, eu ainda acredito em você e em mim, os votos que salvamos. Então vamos escrever nossa história, cada página um coração aberto, através de cada lágrima e riso, juntos não vamos nos separar. Os ecos do amanhã prometem céus mais brilhantes novamente, a cada batimento cardíaco sussurrando, eu vou lutar por você. Eu ainda acredito em você, com um amor que nunca vai desaparecer, como uma promessa ininterrupta, onde duas almas não têm medo, permanecendo tão forte e verdadeiro, enquanto nos levantamos do que conhecemos. Baby, eu ainda acredito em você e em mim, nunca estamos sozinhos. Então me dê mais uma chance de provar o quão profundo isso é. Em um mundo que está sempre mudando, você sempre será meu sol. Juntos criaremos uma vida onde os sonhos podem realmente voar, porque baby, eu ainda acredito em você para sempre.
While I was out getting another cold snack, I just figured out how I can get the loony left to listen to my audiobooks. What I'll do is I'll do a live stream, right? And I'll put on a dress, lots of makeup, a wig, and they'll bring their kids and they'll listen to my books. That seems to be how it works with them. Maybe they'll learn something. Next topic, leftists complain about the Doge outing USAID funding. First of all, and I have misallocation of funds. I think that pretty much goes without saying, doesn't it? The funds from USAID are often misallocated to NGOs that may not have transparent financial practices. You think? Anyway. Reports have surfaced suggesting that some NGOs receive funds but fail to deliver tangible results or aid to communities in need. Well, I mean, unless you consider the Democrat Party a community in need, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to. Yeah. In Peru, instead of receiving necessary resources for development projects, some argue that funds ended up being used for lobbying efforts or political campaigns rather than actual community support. Basically, that was a nice way of saying they didn't actually get a gay comic book. They basically wrote that down and then sent the money to the Democrat Party. After it was laundered through an NGO. It's wild how much cash flows into these NGOs without any real accountability. Like, where's all that money really going? Political kickbacks, that's where it's going. There are credible suspicions about NGO funds being funneled back into the coffers of Democratic Party members. Shocker. You know what? I probably shouldn't have just put Democratic there because Republicans approve funding for USAID too. I don't trust any of you motherfuckers at all, and I work for you. That's kind of why I don't fucking trust you. By the way, when I left Afghanistan, we were winning. I had friends there who are probably dead now thanks to your fucking voting. Investigative reports suggest connections between NGO funding and political donations to Democrats. What was that website that all of a sudden just ran out of money? What was it? Vote Blue or something? It was a PAC, like a Democrat PAC, something blue. Can't remember now. I heard Tim IRL mention it, but if an NGO receives $1 million from USAID and then reports large donations to Democratic candidates shortly after, it raises eyebrows about where that money really ends up. Bernie Sanders is worth $3 million on a six-figure a year salary. He's not that great a speaker. So you work it out. Same with Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. They're multimillionaires saying they made it giving speeches. Isn't it sketchy how some NGOs seem to just front organizations for political fundraising? I mean, come on. How can we ignore the fact that some of these NGOs just might be a way for rich Democrats to launder cash? Now again, I probably shouldn't just say Democrats, but they're in the forefront of it all. That they're the ones screaming about it. I haven't heard one Republican scream about it though. So that tells me something at least. I mean, you might be a rhino, but maybe you aren't that much of a thief. You're not going to use an aid agency to launder money for yourself. You'd use Ukraine. Oh, my next topic, which just irritates the shit out of me. I stand with Ukraine. If you really stand with Ukraine, send your own money and your own sons over to fight. Otherwise, you're just virtue signaling as usual. By the way, Ukraine does take foreigners in their National Guard. I've been to combat. If you need help figuring out what you should pack, give me a call. Pack or buy, to help you, in combat. Call me up or contact me here, so you can put your money where your mouth is. You do know how to use a rifle, right? I have a book on that. Go to my go on Google Play, type in "tactical training with firearms," and download the book. Or you can go over on Amazon. It's available on Amazon too. Just Google "tactical training with firearms" and purchase it. And hopefully it arrives before you ship out for Ukraine. I've already done my time in combat for my own country. I've also paid taxes in my own country. What's weird is the loony left seemed to be very upset about Ukraine's borders, but didn't give a flying fuck about ours. The border that actually cost us money until, Russia invaded Ukraine. Then Ukraine's border was also costing us money. You fucking tards. Under Trump, we were just talking about borders. Cool. Almost a cool lead-in, like straight up lead-in. That was unintentional, by the way. It just came out that way. Under Trump, border crossings down 93%, lowest levels in 25 years. Way to go, Mr. Homan. I'm going right to the guy who's making it happen. Officer, what do you call him? Agent Homan, Director Homan. Stricter policies work. No shit. Trump's tough stance on immigration led to a significant drop in border crossings. Statistics show that illegal crossings decreased by 93%, reaching levels not seen in 25 years. The implementation of policies like mass deportations and the use of Gitmo made it clear that there were consequences for crossing illegally. It's clear that when you take a hard line in immigration like Trump did, people think twice before trying to cross the border. Those numbers don't lie. 93% for fewer crossings is huge. As a matter of fact, I saw one of the legacy media sources, or loony leftist media sources, had a picture of an illegal sitting on a stone on the Mexican side of the border, going, and there was a headline that says, illegal immigrants stuck at U.S. southern border. I'm like, they're not stuck. They can walk the fucking way they came. They're not stuck. Stand up. Go the direction you came. You ain't stuck there. Where is it? The implementation of policies like, I already read that. It's clear when you take a hard, national security benefits. Lower border crossings enhance national security. Duh. Remember that idiot that came across the border and he was like, "You're gonna know my name. You'll know my name on camera." Who was on the fucking terrorist watch list? Remember that one? Yeah. You loony leftist dumbasses. Fewer people crossing means less potential for crime and drug trafficking. No shit. Now, if we could just get Delta Force to take out some of the cartels, would be good. With fewer undocumented immigrants entering, illegal aliens entering, law enforcement can focus on more serious threats instead of managing a constant influx. When you cut down on how many folks are coming across the border, you're not just keeping track of numbers, you're actually making our communities safer from crime and drugs. Because guess what? They have a lower level of education in drugs and sex drugs. How many 80,000 kids did Trump find that were smuggled across the border for sex trafficking? That Biden led across the border? Biden should be facing fucking charges. That's what, for child sex trafficking. That's what he should be. But then again, he's probably in the shower right now, isn't he? Economic stability. Record immigration can lead to better job prospects for American workers. Reduced immigration can lead to better jobs. Yeah, you're not competing against people who will work for less. Weird. As soon as Trump said, we're going to deport illegal aliens, the loony left was in favor of slave labor picking their crops again. History repeating itself? Except the last time, they actually paid to have them brought here. This time they just, Studies show that lower levels of illegal immigration correlate with wage increase for low-skilled jobs. Many workers in construction and agriculture reported better pay as competition decreased. Yeah, because if farmers can't pay people below minimum wage, well, they're going to have to hire people at minimum wage. Weird, huh? With fewer immigrants competing for jobs, Americans are finding better job opportunities. That's got to be good news for working families. Now, what is it, N1 and visas, work visas? I didn't have a problem with those because we brought them on the farm, but they were seasonal. They weren't like, you didn't come here on a green card and live here. You came in to do your job and you left. And a lot of them liked working that way because they commit, make a shit ton of, well, in their country, make a shit ton of money, and the farmer always put them up. So they made money. And they came in legally. So there wasn't a problem. There wasn't a worry. And then they go back to their country with a roll of frickin' cash, worthless money. But they'd go home richer so they could, a matter of fact, Venezuelans are coming to America to get jobs so they can send it back to Venezuela because their money is almost worthless. My dollar here is worth almost 6 reals. 6 reals for due to inflation. That's why they want to come to America. Their money's worthless. So let me check my because nope, he didn't respond. I was hoping the idiot would respond, but I have a, hold on. Let me see if I can do this on the fly, because this is cool shit. All right. Browser. No, I'm going to do capture. Window capture. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So this idiot here, like I have one on threads that I keep open, right? See if I can get the comments open. All right. I only leave one open that they can comment on because they're idiots. You don't give them space to just troll you. So it says, Looney Leftist, this is your thread to babble. Call names because my sourced articles triggered you. Feel free to cry, call me names, babble, tell everyone how much you hate Trump. It is entertaining. And this was his if you're commented, you comment on people's posts, limiting comments, it's punch and run, away pussy shit, be a man for once in your life. And I posted, well, of course I posted this podcast, he could have come over. He was free to, I can't block him from here. Well, I can, but I wouldn't. I just put, you just commented, didn't you, stupid? He just commented, right? So, kind of dumb. Let's see here. If you can see, is it showing? Yeah. Trying to see what's going on with doesn't show emojis, which I don't care. Raised the bar, failed the bar, worked at a bar, lives at a bar, can't spell bar, should be behind bars. Pretty much, yeah. Pretty good, so accurate. But yeah, that's how this stuff works. The people that should aren't, and the people that, get long sentences. But I'm going to call this a night, and maybe I'll go over to and make a phone call if I can. I'm in Facebook jail again because people don't like being called stupid, I guess. But I hope tonight was informative. I wrote more than I usually do, and nobody showed up to question my stuff, so I guess it's pretty accurate. And I'll share this on threads. You got to come over to my threads. You leave everybody else alone. I like threads because I get to pick and choose who can comment on my stuff. I have one place they're allowed to comment. Oh, sorry. Let me go back over to threads. You literally everything you're allowed to do. Everything I listed. No, can you hold on? Let me open this because I want to show you what I'm typing. Where's it? Window capture. There it is. Why is it not? Oh, there it is. Okay. I got a comment on not that, this. I can't do so yeah, I'm going to call it a night. So yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Maybe go over to and try making a phone call before it gets too late. So peace out, people. You have a good time. Nobody showed up. Don't care. I got this. I'll share it to social media later. Wrong screen. Let's go to camera. Shut this off. Oh, that's my, yeah, okay. You still saw me, whatever. But, hasta la pizza, folks.
Out on the porch with a glass in my hand, I watch the sunset paint this tired land. It used to be hard work brought home bread. Now folks just sit and let the dreams go dead. Oh, we're drifting away from what's real, lost in the noise of how it feels. What this world needs is a little more grit to stand up tall and fight for it. Too many missing chromosomes can't find their way home. While blue-haired shadows dance in the twilight gloom. Yeah, we're longing for reason in a sea of doubt. Let's bring back the heart and figure it out. Remember when laughter rang loud through these fields? Now we're lost in opinions, like we've got no shields. Folks used to sweat under that old sun's glow. Now they're glued to screens where kindness won't grow. Oh, yearning for days when truth was gold, not wrapped in confusion or stories retold. What this world needs is a little more grit, to stand up tall and fight for it. Too many missing chromosomes can't find their way home. While blue-haired shadows dance in the twilight gloom. Yeah, we're longing for reason in a sea of doubt. Let's bring back the heart and figure it out. Your mask and step into light. We all bleed red when we fight for what's right. Let's build bridges instead of walls. Find common ground where love never falls. What this world needs is a little more grit, to stand up tall and fight for it. Too many missing chromosomes can't find their way home. While blue-haired shadows dance in the twilight gloom. Yeah, we're longing for reason in a sea of doubt. Let's bring back the heart and figure it out. So raise your voice if you feel like I do. Together we'll make our dreams come true. In every heartbeat lies hope anew. What this world needs starts with me and you. So take off your mask and step into light. We all bleed red when we fight for what's right. Let's build bridges instead of walls.